All right, so we are gonna discuss week 10, very exciting, video 1 on holiness, Kedusha. Kedusha doesn't mean holiness, Kedusha means Kedusha. It's a very deep thing to try to understand. We're gonna read straight from the MESSILAS YESHARIM to try to grasp a bit better what he means. So, what does it mean to try to be kadosh? It means the striving referred to consists of completely detaching and removing oneself from what is material and always clinging to the divine at each and every moment. So we have to make sure we don't make the mistake. It's not necessary, because when we read that, we think, okay, so I just learn and pray all day, like no eating, no nothing, no physical. That's not what it means. It means the detaching is the detaching of the focus and the desire for this world. I'm in this world, I need to have a body. We're not trying to reject the body, but where is your desire? Where is your interest? Where is your focus? And that's what's gonna make you kadosh. If your focus is only God, then you become kadosh because God is kadosh. That's why kadosh kedusha has to be a gift by default. It is in this sense that the prophets are called angels. What does that mean? As it's said of Aaron, for the lips of a priest should keep knowledge, and they should seek Torah from his mouth, for he is an angel of the Lord of hosts. And it says, but they mocked the angels of God, and despised his word and scoffed at his prophets. Even when a person is engaged in the physical activities made necessary by his bodily existence, his soul should not depart from its supernal communion. As it says, my soul clings to you, your right hand upholds me. So, he's saying, why is comparing to an angel? An angel has nothing else in mind than to serve God. And therefore, a leader of Kedusha, an angel is very holy, it has Kedusha because he's always connected. There's nothing he's separate from anything that is not God. It's like I have Kedusha with my wife, I'm separate from anything that is not my wife. Let's say in a relation. So nothing, no other thought, no other woman, no other God, no other power comes into my mind when I'm involved with him. And if it's all the time, then we're able to be holy, davek all the time. But since it is impossible for a person to achieve his state of his own accord, well, we cannot do on our own, it's a gift, the task being too difficult for him as he is, after all, composed of matter, flesh and blood. We have a body, and it's like very hard, but body needs and desires, it's almost impossible to achieve that level. I have therefore stated that sanctity ends as a gift. So God has to help you. He helps you in a way that you feel, I don't need to eat as much anymore. I don't need to sleep as much anymore. Your whole body is transformed, is given a gift that doesn't need what other people usually need. That gift is almost like a miracle in a way. But it's not just God, it's Kedusha. The best the person can do is make the initial effort pursuing true knowledge and giving incessant thought to the sanctification of his deeds. In the end, however, it is the Holy One, blessed be He, who will guide him on the path he wishes to follow, and cause His holiness to rest upon him, to sanctifying him. Then will this goal be realized through him, the ability to experience this dvekus with God constantly. That's the goal, to be able to experience this dvekut with Hashem constantly. Shivisi Hashem in Tamid, not just Shivisi Hashem in Tamid. That was already in the Yaschet or even Tahara. Now is beyond that. Now we're saying he experiences being attached to Hashem all the time. So almost like we're saying, like, you walk with Hashem holding your hands. Like, literally, he experienced that. That's the level of Kadosh. Constantly, everything he does has Hashem in mind, directed to Hashem. For what nature denies him God's munificence? I don't know what that word is. Basically, he will bestow upon him and assist him to achieve. As it says, no good thing does he withhold from those who walk uprightly. Our sages therefore said in the aforementioned dictum, when man sanctifies himself a little, which is what he can acquire through his own efforts, he will be sanctified a great deal, which is the assistance given him is the assistance given to him by heavenly emanation. When a person receives something of the sanctity of his creator, even his corporal actions become quite literally sacred. So there's a real change of the Bria, almost, if you could say so. The action itself becomes really holy. There is an indication of this in the eating of the sacred. What is it? KEDUSHA mamash, so it's the real thing, which is in of itself a positive precept. So meaning that you can do a physical thing, and that physical thing become really holy, like really as if it's spiritual, as if it's not from this world. You can now see the difference between the pure person and the holy person. So that's what we're saying. We were similar to Tahara. So you have Tahara. Tahara is Shivisi Hashem Tamid, I think of Hashem all the time, and the holy person. What's the difference? The pure person's material activities are no more than necessary, and meaning the only anything he does physically is only because it's necessary for him to do it. Otherwise, his body is not going to be able to function to serve God. But otherwise, not. And his own intent is to discharge them only out of necessity, right? So it's so thus they escape the sort of evil that ordinarily inheres in the material and remain pure, but they cannot yet be classified as holy. For had life been possible without them, it would have been still better. Okay, see, until now we're only speaking about Tahara. That's the pure. Now, what is so Tahara is I'm doing things only because I need to, and my intent is to I'm discharged out of necessity. I have to do it because otherwise my body cannot make it. So that's the Tahara. The Kadosh is but a holy man who cleaves constantly to his God, his soul moving freely among the true intelligibles, in love and fear of his Creator, is regarded as if he were walking before the Lord in the land of the living while remaining here on earth. That level is, you're in Gan Eden already. You're walking and everything around you is Hashem. There's nothing else than Hashem. And you live with, like Adam Rishon, in the garden. Hashem speaks to you. Hashem, you understand that I'm busy all day with Hashem. So it is similar to what was said with regard to Hanoch, that he walked with God. All of his steps were with the Blessed One, conjoining with his holiness until death. Because of his clinging to God, he departed and transcended all death. As the verse states, and Hanoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Such a man is regarded as if he himself were a sanctuary, a temple, an altar, as the sages, may their memory be blessed, said, and God ascended from upon him. The patriarchs and the chariots are one and the same, meaning that I'm just a being that allows God's will to be fulfilled through. I'm no more than, almost I would say, a puppet. It's not a puppet because you have free choice to do it, but you really allow Hashem to use everything we see just for him, for his Shekhinah. So for the Shekhinah truly rests on them as it did in the temples. There's a special hashgacha. As a consequence, the food they eat is like a sacrifice placed upon the fire on the altar, meaning that anything physical becomes a spiritual action too. For surely those things that ascend the altar were greatly ennobled because they were offered before the Shekhinah. So greatly were they enhanced that everything belonging to this species throughout the world was blessed, as our sages, may they be blessed, said in the Midrash. So if I make a blessing on water and I'm connected to Hashem on the level of being a kadosh, I'm only drinking to serve Hashem, then all the water in the world is elevated. If I'm eating the like a cow, all the cows in the world get elevated. The same applies to the food and drink that the holy man consumes. His food and drink are elevated as if they had actually been offered on the altar. So this is the notion our sages, may their memory be blessed, conveyed when they said, whoever presents the Torah scholar with a gift is regarded as if he had offered first fruits. They also said, one who wishes to offer a libation upon the altar should fill the throats of Torah scholars with wine. This is not to say that Torah scholars are eager for food and drink, God forbid, or that one should fill the throat the way one stuffs a glutton, God forbid. Rather, the notion is, as I have explained, that Torah scholars who are holy in their conduct and in all their deeds are quite literally like the temple and the altar, because the Shekhinah rests upon them as it did in the temple. So whatever is offered to them and is offered as if upon the altar, as I have explained. Similarly, whenever they make use of the worldly thing in that they are conjoining with His Holiness, blessed be He, that thing is ennobled and enhanced because it was privileged to be a service to the righteous man. That was a sage, may them be blessed, have already expressed this idea with regard to the stones of that place, which Yaakov took and placed under his head. Rabbi Yitzchak said, this teaches that all the stones gathered together, and each one said, let the righteous man rest his head upon me. Since I'm now a tool for Hashem, everything that I use is used by the Shekhinah, so to speak, is used for Hashem. Therefore, everything that I use is transformed into something holy, like an angel in the spiritual world, and I'm elevating anything that I do. Anything that connects to me is going to be naturally elevated. In sum, the idea of sanctity is that a person be so conjoined, so attached to Hashem, Davik B'Hashem, that no matter what he's doing, he will not separate or so much as budge from Him. As a result, rather than his dvekus being broken and his rank reduced by using material things, the material things that serve any of his needs shall be elevated by his use of them. But this is the case only if his mind and intellect are constantly focused on the greatness, majesty, and holiness of God, blessed be He, so that it is as if he's truly in the company of the angels above while still in this world. So that's the level we have to be. We have to be like angels, but still in this world. I've already said, however, that a person cannot achieve this on his own accord. He can only be fervent in striving for it. And this is after he had first acquired all the virtuous traits thus far mentioned. So, for if he lacks the preceding traits, he will be like an outsider or one with a physical blemish, about whom it is stated, and a side shall not become. So, we can't think we can have KEDUSHA if we don't do the other traits. It will be a blemish. But if, after preparing himself in all these ways, he devotes himself assiduously in passionate love and intense fear to the understanding of his greatness and his exalted majesty, if he detaches himself by degrees from the material and directs his deed, every deed and movement to accord with supernal secrets and with the hidden path of true dvekus, known up to the sage and prophets, until the Spirit is poured upon him from on high, and the Creator, blessed be He, causes him name to rest upon him, then he will be quite literally like an angel of God. Mamash. And all his deeds, even the lowly and material ones, will be like sacrifices and acts of worship. It's as if he's an angel in heaven serving God. It is like he's a Kohen Gadol in Beis Hamikdash. Okay, I think we are gonna stop here for today, and we are gonna continue. Let's see if it is one little piece, more piece. No, so we'll stop here, and God willing, continue tomorrow. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen, Amen. Let us be Kadosh.